Good morning, go-getters. How are you guys doing today? So I am so over the moon excited for what I'm about to share with you, which is one of my secret weapons, and that is Todd Giannattasio. So I have been using Todd's services for a long time. He runs the blog for Communities That Convert, which is my podcast with Madeline Sklar, who will also be here in this same hot seat in a couple, I think next week. I don't know. Katie, you can tell him when, but she'll be here in the next couple of weeks to talk to you about Twitter. But today, Todd is going to be talking to us about simple marketing funnel. So all of you have a funnel, whether you think you have one or not. So everybody thinks, oh, funnel, that's very like sexy and exciting. But here's the thing. Do you have customers? Any customers, then you have a funnel. Even if it's a minor thing, like, people call me and then I call them back and send them a proposal, that is a funnel. So what I want to make sure is that you guys have an optimal funnel from the time that somebody gets oh, by the way, I have like the lawn people here now. That's perfect timing. That's okay, because I'm not
can't
talking.
Hear it too much. You're good.
Yeah. So that's Todd in the background. So I'm going to bring Todd on. He also just started a new venture called Ziotag, Ziotag, which is super cool. It's in beta right now. So certainly after we're done here, you guys should all rush over there and get your copy of Ziotag, because you can take videos like this one and turn them into searchable. I don't know. I'm going to let him tell you all that at the end, but it's really, really cool. So ziotag.com. So I'm really excited to bring him in here because he also ran all the ads for me during this promotion. So how many of you, say in the box, saw one of the ads for the course? Maybe you came in and checked out the course for the ads. Did you see an ad? Say yes, I saw an ad if you did. All right. Cool. So, all right. Well, great. So definitely I am going to bring, with no further ado, Todd on to talk to us. Hi, Todd.
Hey, Cami. Hey, guys. Thank you for joining us this morning. What's up, Tracy, Paul, Jamie, Katie? Happy belated birthday.
Yes.
Was excited to see that the other day. So I just want to say, Cami, and I was about to say this before we jumped on to you, but I'm so grateful that you've put this program together, because I know a few of the people who are in the program, and it's perfect for them. And it's really a great resource that should be out in the world. So I'm excited that, we were able to get this launched, and like we were just talking about, hopefully do it over and over again. So I think it's really a great thing. And I'm grateful to you for putting this together and putting it out in the world to help people get started. So kudos to you and thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So I'm going to let you take it away with your awesome content. I'm out of here. I'll be in the comments with you guys.
All right, guys. So I'm going to try and keep my eyes on the comments a little bit. And the way we want this to kind of work is I'm going to talk through some concepts and some instructions for a little bit. I'm going to ask you some questions, but I'd really like to spend the bulk of our time after that going into kind of Q&A to help you specifically in your scenario and your business, to help you guys get set up for the best position, to be in the best position for success. So what I want to start with is kind of piggyback off what Cami said, that every business really has a funnel once they're up and running, right? If you're getting customers, the funnel is really just like the experience that someone has with your company from when they're a complete stranger to when they ultimately become a customer, right? So how does all that happen? Is it because they searched on Google and saw something and visited your website? Is it because a friend of theirs referred you and then they called you? Like Cami said, did they call you and you sent back a proposal? Whatever it is, there is a funnel there. There's a customer journey. Now, the key to making it successful, repeatable, scalable is having that done intentionally, right? Where usually a lot of businesses, when they're getting started or when they're getting started with their marketing, they don't have this intentional customer journey that they want people to go through that makes it easy for people to find them and buy from them. And it makes it easier to sell things, especially like if you're someone who doesn't really love sales, which I think being part of this program, that's an identifier for you. When you have a really solid funnel and what I call content funnels, it helps you kind of pre-sell, pre-educate, pre-qualify people before you have to get on the phone with them or before you end up selling to them. So then you're not really pushing any kind of sales. It's like they already know you, like you, and trust you. They're interested in what you have to offer, and they just really want to sign up. And then you can really come from a place of just serving them and helping them get enrolled in whatever it is that you offer, right? So that's really what we're talking about building here. So If we could flip real quick to my screen here, I just want to show visually as we talk through this, like what an online funnel will look like. Thank you very much, Cami. Let me switch this to present mode so you guys can see maybe a little bigger. Let me know if you guys see my screen there, if everything makes sense. So what we have here is what I call our quick launch engine, and the simplicity of the first funnel that you guys should launch or create and set up is really to just have a simple a freebie that you offer, right? A lead magnet that you offer. And when they sign up for that, you want to offer them the chance to either talk to you if you sell on the phone, like, okay, you've generated a lead through this free sign up. Now on the next page, having them say, hey, if you really want to solve this problem right now, or if you really need to, talk to someone to get help, fill out the form below and book a call. Or, if it's a sales page that you sell online, whatever your sales mechanism is, you can have that on the thank you page. That way, when you're getting people signed up and becoming a lead for you, if they do need to solve that problem right away, if they are in buying mode, then you're not leaving them out to dry for too long, right? You're giving them the opportunity right now to solve their problem. And that's really, when you think about selling from that perspective, is you're helping people solve a problem. You're helping them transform their life in some way. That becomes a totally different way of quote unquote selling, as opposed to like, I want to make money and just push products, right? So when you think about it that way, things become totally different from a mindset perspective. Then what we have are these kind of the traffic sources, right? So how do we get people to our opt-in page to become a lead? And that's where we talk about posting stuff on social media. If you want to, create content that ranks on Google or run Google ads, or if you want to just go out and promote directly and get people's email addresses and reach out to them, some kind of cold outreach and offer them a freebie. Those are the three kind of ways that we're talking about driving traffic to that opt-in page initially. And then once they visit there, Cam, you mentioned the ads. Once you're in the program, you start seeing ads everywhere. Once we get you in our hooks, right? That's called retargeting. And so everyone who kind of visits your opt-in page, you want to retarget them on social with more value-added content that will get them interested in buying and booking a call, right? So that's kind of the overview. Let me know, guys, if that kind of makes sense when we're talking about a funnel, that we want to have a sign-up page for something for free so you can generate leads, and then having a sales mechanism behind that so that from the lead you're generating, you can actually start to get customers and make money. Does that make sense to you guys?
It definitely makes sense to me. One of the things that's interesting about this, Todd, as we're waiting for them to say, yes, it makes sense to me. You guys definitely leave comments. Let us know you're here.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
It also, there's a little bit of a delay, so you have to give it a second.
Yeah, I figured.
But, what I loved about what you said about that is solving a problem right now, because that's what we're talking about a lot.
Right.
A lot of them that did the quick start with me last week, that was totally what we were focusing on, is that solving a problem now. So it would be cool if you could say in the comments what problem you solved.
Yeah, let's see that, because that'll help too while we're talking about this. All right, cool. Makes sense for Paul, Brian. Definitely makes sense. Tracy, Jamie, Jordan. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. So yeah, let us know in the comments what problems that you guys solve, or what transformation you guys create for your customers, right? So conceptually, that's kind of the high level of what we want to do, is that we want to attract people to go through this process to become a customer, and really using the lead magnets to do a couple things, right? We want that to pre-qualify them. Like, so if you, once we start seeing the problems come in, we can talk about like lead magnet ideas, and Cami, I think you guys probably talk about that content offers kind of thing. But if you're selling website services, right? Like, then maybe a free website planning guide, or a free new website checklist, or something like that would be a freebie that you give away. And that's like getting people signed up for that. Then obviously that's someone who is planning a new website in the near future. And then you can follow up with that, right? So making sure, this is a mistake that I see a lot of people make, and for you guys to be aware of, is the key to success in the funnel is making sure that everything is seamlessly aligned, right? That all of your topics are congruent. And I do have a free worksheet for you guys that also has some guide information that you'll get at the end of this, I'll give you the link and we'll post the link in the group to walk you through it and fill out on your own. But really, it's what I call the seamless sales strategy. And the key is that whatever your product or service is that you're offering is aligned with the lead magnet that you're offering for free. And then when you create your social media posts, that those posts are speaking to the audience that you want to target. They're speaking to the problems that you solve, and speaking to the outcomes that you create for people. When those things become, misaligned, you could be getting a lot of social media action, but no one's signing up for your lead magnet, because if you're talking about, social media marketing on your social media posts, but your offer is about a free website checklist, those things aren't 100% aligned. You see, there's a difference there. Or if you're giving away a website checklist, but you're trying to sell social media marketing, when someone signs up for the checklist of a new website, that doesn't mean that they're interested in social media marketing or trying to solve the problem of, using social media. So you want to make sure that you are creating content that aligns with your freebie lead magnet offer, and that aligns with whatever product and service that you're offering, and thinking always back to being customer centric. What problem are we solving for the customer, right?
And I have some problems for you now. So I'm gonna actually bring us over here, and we're gonna just start talking some problems. I'll pull them up for you. I'll start with just from the top to the bottom, starting with Paul. Paul says he's been working on his 2x2 from last week, and my offer is tough. And what the 2x2 is, I don't know if you saw the 2+2 thing.
Yeah, refresh my memory, but I did see it.
So basically, we asked them to go out every day and do 2 posts, basically, that were question posts, more like drawing people in rather than like informational link to something posts. And then 2 interaction posts where they go and comment on somebody else's content or share somebody else's content with their own spin. So that's the idea, that every day on one social media network, at least, but we said 1 because it's hard to do that for everything, that they're out there being visible every single day in a non-spammy way, in an inviting way.
Yeah. All right. So Paul gets to be a lucky bias in here, because I do know Paul, and I've known him for years, actually. So I know, are we talking first, Paul? And I don't know, Cam, if you know this, but are we talking about carpet cleaning, or are we talking about roasting
barbecue
pigs?
I know we've got both going. We know about Paul. Paul is like, but you've done well, Paul, with the roasting pigs. I mean, he had a really good response in that side, because he talked about barbecue and it was big and it kind of blew up. He tried, and the carpet cleaning was a little harder, but mostly because people aren't following it yet. But there was a really cool thing he asked there. Actually, I went and participated as well, about like what different cleaning, like what's different between sanitizing and, I don't know, Paul, you'll have to remind me how it went, but sanitize the 3 different kinds.
Dry carpet cleaning and steaming and something else.
Yeah. So it was interesting. So carpets. He really wants he's working on the carpets in this group.
Yeah.
That's his
main. I think he says carpet. Yes. So, so let's say, use using Paul as an example. So the problem he solves is, cleaning carpets, cleaning stains, keeping your house, clean. And in this world and context now, once people are, in and out of the house again, there's going to be like, how many germs and bacteria and all that kind of stuff are in your house. So it might not necessarily be stains, right? So I think, right now, a great topic when you think about, okay, what are the problems that the customers have, and what are the things they're thinking about and questions they're asking? So right now the question is, how can I make sure that my house is clean, not necessarily visibly clean, but clean of, viral bacteria or whatever.
Invisible enemy.
Right. Yeah. So I think, here being able to speak to, recommended ways to clean your house. And then, okay, I have kids. Yeah, there's a lot of cleaners out there that have bleach or but like, I'm concerned. I don't want my kids to not be able to go into the kitchen for 2 days because I just cleaned it. Or, my daughter's 4 years old. She loves cleaning and she wants to spray the stuff. Right. So, okay, what are some, non-toxic but effective ways to clean? And now all of a sudden we're leading into, well, if you have kids, you want your house clean quickly and you want it available quickly, dry carpet cleaning ends up being the answer when it comes to cleaning your carpets, right? So speaking to the topic of how do you clean your house so that it's disinfected, putting out, tips and tools and tricks and stuff like that is an easy win. I mean, and that's stuff I know that Paul can rattle off, and whatever business
he knows
you're in.
That's his superpower. That's what he knows the best, right?
Exactly.
And I was talking to him too about it in this group and saying the other a great thing is because we're all stuck in our house and we can't leave for long periods of time to let carpets dry.
Mhm.
I mean, you can get in and out and he can be in and out. It can be very efficient.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly. And so,
yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that you want to be talking about. And like when we circle back to a funnel,
Mhm.
now we
Mhm.
don't want to just be posting on social and having nothing happen after that, right? So after we are getting this audience engaged, where do we take them? And so
Mhm.
that's where think about, okay, what's in between information and content and stuff like that on social and coming to clean their house for the dry carpet cleaning. And so that could be you can be posting these tips on social and then say, download my recommended, my 5 recommended things for cleaning your countertops, other things, so that you're not giving away your own job. And plus you're always going to do 10 times better at least than someone's going to do on their own house. Right.
Well, and also because thinking about local, because he's also local, right? So if you go
Hmm.
drill all the way down to local,
Hmm.
once he does these tips, he can actually run ads to
Yep.
a very specific local audience and
Yeah.
then try
For
to drive
very
them to get
affordable.
the tips because
Yeah.
you can get tips from like if he was living next door to me, not in New Jersey, believe me, he'd be in my house right now cleaning my carpet. We've talked about this. He's like my guy. I mean, he's like
Yeah.
totally my guy.
Yeah.
So how do you get there? And next door, maybe another way to go with that too, but we
Right.
can get into that later. Also, Paul, in module 3, we're going to be talking about creating your content. And I've got a really cool tool that's going to help you spin up all this content in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
So we'll get to the content stuff, but
Yeah.
I love that. So let's move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Let's go
So,
to
yeah, keep going.
Cicely Mason. So she needs
All
to
right.
solve a problem to provide career training and professional development computer classes to low to no income and adult offenders. Okay, so let me fill you in here because I've read all of her stuff too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
she has a product to help these low income and no and adult offenders to get the education they need and all of that, so that they don't there's lower recidivism rates and everything. So who she's trying to get to are like courts and people that are going to refer these clients to her.
Hmm.
And then there's like funders as well. And I'm not sure who those funders are. She was supposed to work on that and come back to me with that. But
Okay.
who are those funders? So probably who you're trying to reach through this are those people that are going to do those referrals and the people who are going to give you money to pay for the programs.
Right.
Other than, I mean, she's not going to be advertising to low income and no
I was gonna
adult
say,
offenders,
that's a tough.
or she
You're not
shouldn't.
gonna get right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Anyway,
Unless it's a nonprofit that's funded elsewhere or
right.
whatever. But
Mhm. And
but
it's
yeah. So
it
depending
is.
on who your audience is, what jumps out as obvious to this would be like, okay, well, I want to give tips to people so that they can maybe start their career training. Like, hey, here's some things you look at, but that's actually would be off base, right? Because that's not the actual audience that we're targeting. The audience that we want to target are the referral sources, right? So
Mhm.
maybe I think what you want to think about are how can you help that audience of referrals? So if it's the courts or different people like that, what what is their job? What are they trying to accomplish when it comes to helping these people? And the actual, the resources that you might want to create and send people through are going to be how to help the low to no income people with their career choices. Or, if you're someone who's surrounded by these people and you want to help them, but you just don't know how, here's a few places that you can recommend they go to, or here's a few ways you can point them in the right direction for getting their career training, right? So the funnel that you're going to be putting out is going to be helping them distribute your resources, as opposed to putting out resources directly for the low to no income people needing career training. Let me know if
Yeah.
that helps make sense there, Cicely.
Yeah, that'd be great. And she said she owes me that. Yeah. So I'm going to actually
Yeah.
move to the next one because there's a
Yep.
lot. So I want to make
Yeah,
sure
I
we get
see a
through
lot of
everybody.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm glad. It's good,
Yeah.
guys. That's what we'll do. We'll do some quick
Yeah.
coaching here. Not a ton of time, but so yeah, Giga, she does Feldenkrais, and I always worry I say that right. Sorry if I say it wrong, Giga, but it is a form of not therapy, but movement way of being, I guess, and where she teaches you how different movements and stuff that help to solve cranky joints, feeling anxious, all that kind of stuff, and
Hmm.
it's a cool kind of process that you go through,
Cool.
I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm
Is
sorry if I
there
didn't do that 100% right, Geeka. I've known you a long time, but see, that's kind of what I've gotten through the years.
Yeah. So if that's a movement, if it's not an exercise or therapy, but it's like your way, so the posture, movement, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. I would say, the content stuff is going to be easy to come up with that to put information out, especially when you go through Cammie's, her template stuff. And what you want to offer people there is a daily checklist. Download this PDF and print it out as a reminder. Keep it on your desk, so that you make sure you're always I'm definitely not sitting however you would recommend people, but download this, download this PDF and print it out to keep on your desk, and to as a reminder to sit properly, or to keep around the house, that you're always constantly moving properly, or you put it next to your bed, so make it part of your morning routine to review that list as a reminder, or whatever it is. Give them something, I think, that they could easily print out and keep physically as a reminder. And then, of course, once someone signs up for that, they're interested in this type of lifestyle movement, however you describe it. And then you can follow up with them to help educate them and move them along, to then have that sales conversation, or send them to your sales page where, hey, you have the daily reminders, but if you want to get in depth now, right? Like, that's kind of the thing between the lead magnet and your sales offer, is like, okay, that was quick, easy, free starter help. But if you want to really solve the problem, or you want to solve it faster, or you want to solve it, better, more permanently, like, that's where we can get involved in fill in the blank with your sales offer. If it's one-on-one help, or a product or service,
coaching,
or whatever,
or group, or whatever. And I was saying for her, I mean, I don't know how comfortable she feels with this, but video, like high visibility video content, would be good with this, because people don't get it necessarily unless they see it. So like working with somebody like once a week or something in a live setting, where you could then just just showing people something, some tip, like some physical tip, and it can be short. I mean, shorter the better. Like 3-minute tips for feeling less anxious. This is what you do. Blah. And then you just give them one thing.
Yeah, and I'm looking. She says it's guided movement lessons, and I think unless it's online, unless it's online video courses, if you are doing some kind of one-on-one help, it's very easy to give free tips as a broad stroke. But then, if you want me to jump on the webcam, or if you do this in person, after lockdown stuff, but I'll look at you personally. Like, there's a difference between here's generically the stereotype of what people are doing wrong, and here's my broad stroke advice for how to fix that. But you might be sitting, like, you might look at the example and you're twisted a little bit. Like, I have a second monitor, so I'm
sure, like right now, I always feel like when I'm on like the video camera with Geek, I'm like, I got it. Like, gotta put my arms back.
Right. Yeah. So, being able to say, like, here's some broad advice for stereotypical issues, but join my program, sign up for a one-on-one, whatever it is. Like, I will look at you specifically, check out your exact environment and how you're set up, and help you change, and help you get into things that help you exactly with what's wrong with you. And that's an easy way. Give those free tips and then get them into your...
You would be a good guest for me, Geeka, on tips from the home office on Thursdays. So yeah. So we'll talk about that later, but that might be a good thing too. You could, like, I don't mind you, like, criticizing me on camera. I'm good with that. I'm very comfortable with that. So all good. And then you could have that as a video. I'd download it for you even. So okay, moving on. So Sarah, translating technical research papers processes into stories for broader audience that generate attention from funders and other. That's good, Sarah. I don't 100% understand your business. There's another person in our group her name is Shelby. She has some similar things. She does some research studies. She usually watches on YouTube. Through our YouTube channel. By the way, if you are watching through YouTube, you can leave comments there and I can see them. So if you have a question, feel free. I can see it. So Sarah, you have translating technical research papers and processes into stories for broader audience. So what do you sell those, Sarah? Like, what is remind me what you sell?
Everything going back, and while we're waiting for that answer, really the funnel, the way we always start is reverse engineering our success and understanding, you have to begin with the end in mind, right? So all the funnel is you want to think about your offer and your audience, and how do we bridge them from where they currently are, what problems they have that they're struggling with, what questions they're thinking about, what's their daily life like, and then what's your offer and how does it transform them? How does it get them to the outcomes they desire? And then creating the breadcrumbs, the stepping stones between there, right? And so giving away the free content on social media is how you can get that awareness around, like, their questions and problems. So when you speak to that, you attract them, then giving them the next step to solve that problem through a lead magnet, getting them on your email list, and then having them go through, an automated email sequence. Usually I have those as like 3 to 7 messages over the course of a week or two that, again, educate them on what it is we do, get them excited and compelled to want to work with us, and then presenting them with an offer, right? And then as you are continuously creating and putting out more social media content, anyone who signed up for your list but didn't buy from you, or even if they did buy from you, you then can send out that same social media content, repurpose it into emails so that you're just staying on top of them once a week, with just good content, good information. So you're always top of mind for them. And at some point, they're going to, if they're in the right audience for you, usually within 18 months, it means they're going to be buying a solution for what it is you offer. So making sure you have that ongoing engagement, and you can just simply repurpose all that content that you're putting on social into your emails.
Yeah, so that's perfect. So she does writing and editing for, I guess, technical people. So you're trying to like sell to technical people your ability to simplify things. So it reminds me, because when I worked for the Manufactured Housing Institute. That was my first job. I was the director of communications. Eventually I started as a lowly person and moved my way up, but
we all did
when I left there. But one of the things that I did is I worked with the engineers while I was there, and they would talk about HUD and like different things, and it was totally confusing, but we would put that together and like simplify that into something like a magazine article or something like that. So I'm kind of seeing it that way, Sarah. If I'm totally off, that's it. So you're trying to sell to these technical people your skills. She says, yes. Okay, go.
Yeah. All right. So, I think the topics that you can talk about there are, what tips do you have for, and again, like if you're selling a service, this is something else to be aware of, guys. If you're selling a service that's done for them, you have to be careful not to be attracting people and putting them through your funnel who are trying to DIY it, right? So if you're trying to attract technical people who need help with their writing, and you provide the service of writing, you don't want to teach them, here's how you should write. You want to give them a lead magnet offer around how to prepare to best work with a technical writer in some capacity, right? So, think about what are all the things. This is a good trick. When someone calls you to work with you, what are the things you wish they knew and came prepared with that would put them in a position for success? And I think so many times, being in the service industry for however 10, 15 years at this point, like, and Cammie, I'm sure you feel the same way. How many times you end up with a client that you really like, they really like you, and like it could work, but it just doesn't feel right. Like, and it's because they not to push blame. Everything is your own fault that you can control. But if the client came more prepared and had the right things or had the right information and education, they would see more success from working with you. And so when you provide a service, think about that as what kind of lead magnet you want to give that would pre-qualify them and pre-educate them to be a great client for you.
Also, understanding, because I'll tell you that when you're working with technical people, which I have, obviously, and my husband actually is also an engineer, so it's been interesting. But one of the things he does or learned is that he went to some PowerPoint classes and other things early on. And luckily the persons there said the same thing I told him, which is simplify it.
Right.
Like, you need to tell your whole story in one slide or one story. And most engineers resist to that with all of their bodies, because they know that there's a lot of details in there. They're like, there's a lot of details in here that we have to include. And the truth is that the less you tell, especially at an executive level or at an audience level, when you're trying to attract funders, they want to see the true benefits of whatever it is they're doing. They don't want to know the minutiae or details. So getting an engineer from understanding that their details don't matter is going to be at some kind of process that you need to sell to them. So one of the things that I've learned is that you have to have a process. I used to say, oh, we do it bespoke. You come and we do your strategy around what's important for you, which is true. But what people really want is a process. So now we have a process. We've had it for years. It's, it's clarity, it's connect, it's create, it's calibrate. That's our process. That's what we put all of our clients through at whatever level you come in. I'm putting you guys through it. Believe me, I put SeaWorld through it. I put Google through it. Anybody that we've had come in, we go through this process. So having your own bespoke process that you can then say, this is how we do it. And guess what? Engineers love processes.
Yeah,
so
they do.
if you can sell a process to an engineer, and it could be like a 7-point process, that would make them very happy.
Yeah. And that's great. Yeah. The 7-point process to simplify your technical knowledge so that your funders will understand what it is you do and then want to give you money.
All right. So there we go. I'm going to move on.
That's your headline.
There you go. We've solved all your problems in life. Let's go to Brian. Brian is awesome. So I know Brian. I've worked with him for a long time. He works with small businesses to help them put together their business strategies. He's worked with a lot of nonprofits to get them profitable. A problem I solve: small to medium businesses needing to clearly define their strategic direction with a practical action plan to execute it. See, I'm good. I know what he does.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So again, something that, and guys, let us know if this is helpful coming up with these kind of going through this exercise of lead magnet ideas and content ideas. So, I have a process, but sharing with the clients clearly is one place I need work. Yeah. You're inside the bottle, right? It's often, I feel this way all the time, where it's something I easily help, things that I easily help other people and clients with. Like when I sit down alone in my office to do it for myself, it's like you get stuck, right? And it goes back to the same thing with the engineers, where when you're an expert, you feel this need to give all the detail because that's what separates us from beginners, right? And it's the nuanced understanding, but we have to hold ourselves back from that and be able to clearly communicate it. So, all right, we brought it back up here. Clearly define strategic direction and with a practical action plan to execute it. Yeah. And so, the kind of stuff that you want to go through, what do you say? Yeah. Inside the bottle. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, share.
So, I think, Todd, just kind of boiling this down, I think where would be helpful for Brian is, because what I'm seeing here is kind of googly speak. Like, I don't know that this is what, as a small business, I'm not sure that I really want this. I want I want to understand how my strategy connects with my with the bottom line somehow, so here's an interesting thing. People often want what they want, not what they need.
Yeah.
We know what they need. We know what they actually need. They need this. They need a strategic direction with a practical action plan to execute it. But what they really want, and I asked you guys what you wanted when you came into the group, and a number of you, quite a few of you, and I'll pull it up in a minute because I actually did a word cloud of what you guys wanted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And pretty much you guys were saying strategy and a plan and implementation and So you got to know what your people actually really want and then deliver that.
Yeah. One of my mentors, Dan Martell, he says it's chocolate and broccoli, right? You have to, you know what they need to solve their problem, and it's often not what they want. And so you have to figure a way to either, create a Trojan horse of it where it looks like what they want, and then you give them what they need to get the results. Or giving them that chocolate first and then the broccoli. But like Cami said, think about what is it that they want, talk about that, and then tie it into what they actually need and say, like, hey, if what you want is X, Y, and Z, most small medium business owners think the answer is ABC. But after X amount of years in this, the truth is, that's not really how you get the results. If you want results like fill in the blank of a result you've gotten, that's what I've spent the last 10 years of my career developing this methodology. That's the 7 points to simplifying or whatever it is, right? And so that's how you can take what they want, tie it into, call out their problem and desired solution or desired outcome, tie it into the actual solution that gives them what they need instead of what they want, and helping them understand it in an easy way, right? So that's an easy fill in the blank of like, hey, if you're a small and medium business owner, right? Like, let's call them out, and you're struggling with this and you want this outcome. Common misconception is what they're probably currently thinking, and then shifting the paradigm and saying, over the last 10 years, I've discovered that's not really true. What is how you get that outcome is when you think about and then tell them what they need to think about and say, if you want to understand this better, I put together a free guide for you. Head over to, briancohen.com and check it out or whatever. And that's easy.
Guys, I mean, you can't put this on rewind right now, but later when you come back, I don't know what minute we're on right now, but somebody should note what minute this is. By the way, Zeotag can do that for you. Sorry, little insert of ad.
Yeah.
It's free. So,
yeah.
But what you just said was like gold. Like that is such gold, because people buy processes, not services per se. They buy solutions to their problems.
Right.
And they also buy what they want. And so I love the broccoli gold or chocolate broccoli. I'm sorry, the chocolate
Credit
broccoli.
Dan Martell for that. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that is just brilliant, because you tell them, here's what you think you need. And here's what I found to be true. Or I've used, and you guys have heard me use this, but I say, here's the secrets. And they're counterintuitive. Here are my counterintuitive secrets.
Right. Exactly.
I talk about the counterintuitive secrets, because the counterintuitive secrets to social media is that you have to go small to go big. The counterintuitive secrets of social media is that that followers don't matter. Customers do. Anyway, there's a lot of secrets like that we've learned, that people want these big followings. They want all this stuff. They're like, I want more people to hear me. I want to have more people like my page or whatever. And that's not really what works.
Yeah. So real quick, while we're on this topic, can you share go to my shared screen here? So,
yes. Let me actually take out, sorry, Brian, taking you out there.
One of the things you had mentioned was people had questions about ads and stuff. And so this is an ad. This is an ad that I've been running. These numbers are as of January. They're actually higher now, percentage wise. And we actually broke 1,000 signups yesterday for Zeotag. This will be a case study on my end that you'll see coming out, called like how we got our first 1,000 signups using one social media post and an ugly landing page, right? So for anybody who thinks it's super complicated to build these funnels, right? I hate to say, like, Russell Brunson says this whole "you're one funnel away" thing, and it makes it sound very easy, and it's not. But the hard work is in understanding your audience and the messaging and your offer. The hard work is not in creating a zillion different things, right? So like you said, go small to go big. We have this one social media post that we turned into an ad. And here's the breakdown, similar to whatever I just had outlined in the live example. But it's, this is the post is, we do an audience call out. We describe their current situation. We paint the picture of their desired outcome. We call out their pain point. We give them a call to action. We add some more value. And then we give them a call to action again. And we spend $20 a day on this. And we've been getting our signups for $4 a clip. They have gone down, like in the pandemic. If you guys have heard anybody talking about ad prices, have gone way down over the last few weeks. But this is really the codified formula of the one ad that we launched. And luckily, I don't want to say luckily, because I've been doing this for 20 years, I was able to do it in one social media post. If you're brand new, you're going to have to work on your messaging and figure out, how do you create something? But this is the bluept for the post, right? Where this is how you do it. Where if you're publishing videos on YouTube to market your business, all right, we're calling them out. If you're, educating your audience, engaging your existing customers, right? They're understanding this. And then we say, once your video is up, that's when the real work begins. You want to get viewers, get them to pay attention to the content in your video, right? You want them to take the next step. So we're talking about their desired outcome here, right? You want them to watch another video, sign up, blah, blah, blah. Then we give them, if you're struggling with this, here's the link for the simple checklist to download for free. And it goes over, and then, I'm sure there's probably at least a few people thinking, oh my God, I have to create a web page. Now I'm going to show you this. This is the page. And typically, to give you guys a baseline, when we run campaigns, we usually look for cold traffic, which is people who've never heard of you before. They've never visited your website, never watched any of your videos, anything like that. Complete strangers. If we're sending them to a page like this, we try to get 20% of them to sign up. Diane, that was a Facebook ad. But what we do is we actually just post organically on our pages. And then we turn them into ads. So I like to repurpose and reuse as much as possible. I know Cammy's similar like that. So this is the page that we've been running. It just has a headline that tells them what they're getting. We have this sub headline above it that tells them, stop, fill in the blank with the pain. And then we give 4 bullet points about what they're going to get. And simple sign up form, right? This is all it takes. And, usually we want to get 20% of people signed up. We have consistently since November 2nd or something, this page has been converting over 40% to complete strangers, right? So you don't need overcomplicated stuff. You don't need to spend $1 zillion on some kind of designer. You just need to have a clear message to a clear audience that calls out a pain point and tells them what they're going to get, giving them value. And then a simple page with a couple with a headline telling them what they get, a few bullet points about the pains that you solve for them and how they're going to get the answer by signing up, and just get their name and email address. Right? It's really as simple as that. And
I love that you just have your bullet points. And they're all about the what they get, right? So that they're all about, and it's not like, here are the features. It's more about how they're going to feel, like stop, publish, and pay. It's not about like your features. Like, this is a video, making website that is going to help you, like not help you, but not even help you. But here's a video making website. It's going to give you, it's going to take all your videos. It's going to transcribe them. And then it's not describing the product. You see, it's describing the feelings they're going to have. It's describing how it's going to help them solve their problem they have internally. And then for a landing page like this, can you just give a couple of ideas of some tools to put one together like this, like they could do immediately?
Yeah, sure. So I use a tool called Thrive Theme, which is a WordPress plugin. So if you have a WordPress site, and Thrive Themes has a bunch of templates. So literally you click new page, choose a template, pick one from out. This is not even one of their templates. This was something I threw together, but they have templates. Elementor is another WordPress tool for building landing pages. Those are kind of the top two go-tos that we use. And then I think, I stay away from the ClickFunnels stuff. I like their content and their books, but their actual tool, I don't necessarily recommend. I like using WordPress and Thrive Themes or Elementor. Cami, I don't know if you're using like Instapages or something, but really the best tools are the ones that you use. So, check out what the options are, see which one makes, Cicely, Thrive Themes. And so, check out the options, what looks most easy for you to be accustomed to. Everyone's brain works a little differently. So these tools are all, they're all relatively even when you get to those top handful of things. So the best tools are the ones you use.
If you have a website, a plugin is good for like a WordPress website. But if you don't have any website at all, then I mean, honestly, you could even do, I know this sounds really weird, but you could even do like a Google form, honestly. You could put together a Google form and then just tell them a couple of things and ask for their email and stuff. And then and then you don't even have to have a special email system behind it. You can just send the emails yourself. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do this, guys.
It's true. And I'm going back and forth trying to coordinate a training on this, and it'll probably be free if you guys are interested. But, some of the people I work with are using Google. They don't have a website. They use a Google Doc as their sales page, and literally made over $1 million last year from a Google Doc without having a website. And they're doing social media posts. They build up their friend list on social media, and then they're having conversations in Messenger. And then they send people, either they have a phone call or that, when they want more information, they're sending people to a Google Doc. And they made literally, over $1 million last year doing that. So you don't even, as someone who builds websites for clients, and I'm telling you, you can get it done with Google Docs. And like Cami said, a Google form would even work. Just have clearly, it's the message. Have a clear headline that speaks to them. Have a couple bullet points about the transformation they're going to get, solving their problems, and an easy way to sign up. So
and you can add them to an email list. So we do recommend ConvertKit because they just opened up a free level, a free tier. And so
that's great.
Katie has put together a list of all of these tools, and we also started a new tool topics, I guess, in the Facebook group, but also in the back end of Kajabi, or in our portal, or the Smart Social Secrets portal.
If you use ConvertKit, I think they have a landing page thing too. So you can actually create a form in ConvertKit, and then that'll be a page. So
and it's done. So that's what we do recommend that.
That's what I would say to do.
That's what we use. And you can then set up a series of 3 or 4 emails. Once you add them to that tag, it'll automatically send those emails out for you. And it's what's fun about ConvertKit. And I'll show that maybe I'll jump on and show it to you guys sometime, and we'll put it in our tools. And by the way, that was Nicholas Papp who recommended that we put together a category called tools. So boop, boop, boop for Nicholas. Thank you. So here's another one. Let's take on Diane. My company currently produces general and CBD public relations. My offer is a webinar teaching lawyers what PR considerations and reputation management should go into their consultation with businesses who are going to be sued for the post-COVID environment for allegedly not responding effectively to employee or client safety. So very specialized webinar to a new target audience. So lawyers are you getting this?
Yeah, I think so. So the first thing that stands out to me that you just have to be careful of, and I'm sure, Cami can provide some guidance when you guys get into this, but with CBD stuff on social, there's going to be some, you definitely are going to have to sign up and verify something on the back end of your Facebook page, I think, at the very, and you're going to have to be very careful with what messages you're actually putting out so that you don't get flagged or taken down,
or
especially
shut down.
because right. Yeah. Because like the Facebook bots that are like auto checking stuff, they will, that's not a human who's looking at this and saying like, oh, it's Diane Mulligan. Like she's good. Like we know what she means. Like that's not how it works. So they're just going to see CBD lawsuits and, so you'll have to be very careful about that.
Work.
But giving that as an issue, talking to lawyers about their PR considerations makes a lot of sense, right? So that is something
that is one of the considerations, what he just said. So just write that down as the consideration. I'm sure you already know that. I'm sure you already know that.
She said, in fact, we consult on this. Yeah. Very careful about it. Yeah. So, that's definitely something to pay attention to and something to speak to. And, I don't know if this would work, and it's very meta, but if you were to post about on social, how are you seeing this post about CBD without it being flagged? Wish you could do this too. That
comes from a marketer there, Diane. She's a PR person like I am, background. So we're all like, ooh, about the marketing. Yeah.
But let's see. So getting back in, my offer is a webinar teaching lawyers what PR considerations and reputation management should go into consulting with businesses. So you work with lawyers for the lawyers' clients, it sounds like. Is that?
Yeah. So she's trying to bring in lawyers. So honestly, you may already do this, but are you using LinkedIn mostly? That's
what I was thinking.
I would hope that would probably be and a private group might be on LinkedIn might be really good, where you drive people in to the private group through email, so that way you can have conversations in a enclosed environment about not about clients obviously or anything like that, but about the PR tips.
Right.
So maybe that would be your freebie, is that kind of, here's where we're at now. Here's where we're going to be. And you could, do some stuff in there.
Another option for a freebie could be the group, right? So your lead magnet could be the group, and your offer could be, if you're a lawyer in this CBD world, it's really hard to find information because it gets shut down everywhere. So we're putting together a group where we can freely discuss appropriate information around these topics. So I think that might be a great option for you to have as your offer, and then how you get people to join the group. I don't check into LinkedIn groups versus Facebook
she could go from the group. I mean, you just create the group and then you start talking about it. You bring people in and then take them from the group to the webinar, because the webinar is going to be private.
I was going to say, if you put the webinar in the group. So you have to join the group to get access, and that's so you have a mentor.
I'm not sure if you can do that video wise. I think they'd have to go there, and then they'd probably give them a link to something like GoToWebinar or something, whatever you guys use, Zoom, whatever. And then so you come into the group, and then you have a conversation around it, and then maybe you'd even have some small videos or something with small tips, and then that were like conversation starter type of thing, and then that could push them into the webinar, and then from the webinar, then you have your process, that you talk about at the end, and you need to embed it. So like in a webinar, as you're talking, you can't just talk, and then do a big sales pitch at the end. I don't think that works as well anymore. I hate doing it.
It just doesn't feel natural,
So, I mean, I definitely put some in. You have to put a sales sequence in at the end.
Right.
You do.
You have to.
But during the actual webinar, you want to talk about clients you've helped, different times you've done stuff.
Right.
You want to embed that and say,
Yeah.
and we do work with clients around this. And at the end, you say, hey, and if you want to work with us, here you go. And then
Right.
if they want to, then they'll select in. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's kind of with this course, for example, the way we did that was we did it at the end, but I actually walked people through what our irresistible offer was. And then so you got to see our offer, but I was like, this is what we did, this is how we did it. And if you want to be a part of it, we would love for you to be a part of it. And this is the deal we're giving you today.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. But
yeah, I think, planting seeds throughout is always an easier way to do it. Right. Yeah. Like, so as you're talking about it and you say like, and this is, and so, step one that you want to think about is this kind of thing. And, that's part of the process that we offer at, whatever company. And so then as you're going through it, you've already kind of laid out what's in it. And then at the end, you'd be like, I mentioned a bunch of times about the, this package that we have. If that's something that, you're interested in, it makes it easier if you embedded it across,
Yeah. So I'm going to bring up Sandy now. Miss Sandy.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Sandy. Okay.
So the problem we're trying to solve, how can we make sure that people are prepared as much as they can be should a medical crisis arise? She works at a, help me, end of life kind of place.
Yeah,
I was working on this
place.
hospice. Yeah. I think it's hospice. If I'm wrong, Sandy, tell me.
So, yeah.
I was working on this way before COVID hit. So this isn't driven by current circumstances. However, this is really relevant, obviously. I have to find ways for people to be willing to complete their advanced directive. Oh yeah, they want to do advanced directives. I've been working on funnel steps for people to tackle this task. So advanced.
So for a moment, pretend I don't know what an advanced directive is.
Yeah, because most people don't.
What is? Do you know what it is, Cami? Because I don't.
I know exactly what an advanced directive is, but that's the funny part because I work in healthcare too, right? So healthcare is we have huge healthcare clients, hospital system, being one of them.
Yep.
And an advanced directive is what you write down, like if you went on a ventilator, Todd.
Right.
What would your desires be? Like, would you want them to do like anything they could to save you? Or would you say, hey, I don't want to live like a vegetable life. So if I get to this point, that's what an advanced directive is.
Got it.
It's a legal document.
So are you speaking to families, Sandy, or are you speaking to other healthcare professionals? Because that'll change a little bit. But I think if your audience is probably aware of the, what the advanced directive is because they're in that situation, they're getting to be in that situation. So they'll be more aware than I am. But so that's the problem. So what problem are you having right now that we can help solve? So that's the problem that your business solves, the document where got it.
Yeah, that's right. And so what problem are you solving? Yeah. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, Cami. She says they're a little behind us, so that's why it's taking a minute. But we need a little bit more information for you, Sandy. So if you could do that, we'll come back to you. I'll see.
And let us know. And this goes for everyone. Let us know the problem that your business solves, and let us know the problem that you're having that we can help you overcome right now.
Yeah, she had some other stuff in here too.
So many target audiences.
Yeah, she said she talked about in-person, she was doing an in-person employee workshop, blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of stuff, but we've got to be.
So let me say, this brings up a good topic that I'm glad came up. Okay. So for every, and I know it's not something everyone wants to hear, but for every different audience you have, you're going to need a different funnel. Right. And so if you're targeting, other healthcare professionals as a referral source, say, or that need help, whatever, those people have very different problems, questions, and needs than if you're targeting someone who's in their 40s and 50s and their parents are, starting to go into hospice and they need to think about these things. Those are going to be totally different problems, questions, and needs and thoughts, right? And the messaging is going to be different, where you have to be, more sensitive to their situation and communicating, as opposed to a healthcare professional who this is kind of their everyday life, happens unfortunately all the time for them, so they're comfortable with it. So, trying to get the.
So she says there's so many target audiences. Yeah, you're gonna have to but with your online, and she said there's so many target audiences. Yeah. But the thing is that for your online efforts, or their online efforts for Hospice Savannah, you have to be targeted and specific. And you could start with one kind of audience and then add another kind of audience.
Exactly. Later. It's not to say that you get one forever. It's that you just have to have a funnel for each. And so in the simplest way, like we just saw, it could be one social media post that does like do a bunch of social media posts, the ones that do really well, turn them into an ad to one landing page, and then do the same thing for the next audience and the next audience, right? So it's really just understanding that, you know, one, if you should be creating content as specific as possible, because that's what's going to resonate and work the best. And the broader you go with your offer, the broader you go, the less effective it's going to be, because it's not going to really resonate with anyone. So keeping that in mind.
Well, and pulling back up your thing, because you talked about the ad and you were sharing that before. So if you could share that ad again, because I think this is something I meant to kind of point out. I'm going to make it big enough so we can see it. The audience call out.
Yeah.
That is the critical part, is that you're calling out the audience. He says, if you're publishing videos on YouTube to market your business. So first of all, you read that first line. And if you're not somebody who publishes videos on YouTube, you kind of stop reading, because you're like, I'm not doing that. But if you're somebody who does, you keep reading. Educate your audience, or engage your existing customers. Oh yeah, that's me. Then you need to do more than just publish and pray, right? And that calls out that fear we have of like crickets when we put out a post, which is we're working on that here in this group too, Todd. So that audience call out at the top of, and this could just be a post. I mean, this is an ad, but it could just be a post, right? That goes to your lead magnet, even like directly there.
Yeah, and to just also clarify, like my approach to social advertising is not any different than my organic approach, where I turn my organic posts into ads. I use ads as a way to pay to amplify and reach more people, right? That's really all they are. So I'm building an audience organically, and I'm posting, and unfortunately you can't reach everybody with organic posts, but also even if I want to reach people beyond who are following me. And so I look at ads as a way to amplify and reach more people. And so once you have validated that you have a social post that's getting engagement, and then ultimately the full funnel, do you have a social post and a lead magnet that are turning people into customers? So, you know, if you get 10 people in, one of them becomes a customer and you make $1,000. Well, now you know you can spend X amount of dollars and you'll get this many people through your funnel and you'll make this much money, right? So that's kind of the equation that you want to build up to. But it all starts with just getting a message that works. For like a hospice place, you're not looking really, that's not really the final goal, but how many people then come and talk to your hospice about that? And so your ad targeting would be really, really local, really, really close, but your overall post could be broad and wide, because people could like it from California. And then you could then use that social proof in your local market. I don't know if that makes sense, but there you go. And also, you know, I don't want to dive too much into this unless people want me to, but but really quickly, like when you are targeting something that's hyper local, like if it's just in Savannah or Paul's carpet cleaning and pig roast, obviously there's a geographic limitation to it. Is, you know, when it comes to ads, you want to have a large enough audience that Facebook can show your content to, without showing it to the same people 27 times. So what you do is, instead of getting necessarily too narrow in your targeting where there's only like a few hundred people, is that you target geographically. So for Paul, you could target all of North Jersey or full Jersey, whatever, 50 miles from where you're at. And you then can call out homeowners. So you can just target geographically homeowners in X amount of mile range. And then you say, if you have kids that are dirtying up your carpet every day when they come in from playing outside, this is something you might want to think about. Cleaning your carpets with toxic things can, you know, it might get the job done, but you have to stay off the floor for blah, blah, blah. And then your kids can't use it. So if you're interested, learn more, you know, how the process of dry cleaning, and then, you know, they can click and learn more about that. But that in general, it's, if you're doing geographic targeting where your interests, where you can't target interests as well, you can just target geographically and use your messaging to call out the audience.
Right. So we're at the hour, guys. I cannot believe this. It's gone by very fast. So I'm going to actually grab a couple of things. So there's been a couple of suggestions, a couple of ideas. I'm going to just quickly run through some of them. And Jordan was saying that the company I work for uses a digital listening service, Meltwater, to monitor what's being written in news, blogs, and social media. Okay, so that's one tool that's out there for sure. let me go down a little further.
And
Let's look
you
at,
can use a free tool. Could be, sign up for a free Hootsuite account, and you can put in the hashtags or keywords and create a stream of listening on Twitter and Facebook there. So that's another easy way to do a free one. It doesn't
so
get as good detail as Meltwater, but
yeah, and Sandy says she's used Funnelytics to create a graphic of a funnel. Actually, I have Funnelytics. I have the paid version. I came in as a pay once and never pay again kind of person. Like
right.
I'm sort of an AppSumo kind
Lifetime.
of crazy person, lifetime deal. But what's cool about that is that you can then add all of your pixels in it, and it can actually show you. We didn't even set that up for this, by the way, because honestly, we didn't have time.
Yeah.
We will, but there you go. I love Funnelytics. I don't know if there's a better tool.
The thing
honestly,
that I use Funnelytics now. The thing that this graphic is of that was on Funnel Mappy. That's a friend of mine, Josh Corporal, built that. He kind of built it for himself, and then he's just like, well, I guess I might as well put this out for people. I use Funnelytics. Again, the best tool is the one you use. So if you use Funnelytics, like, don't go searching for tools unless that's just a hobby of yours. If you use your time wisely for business. So if Funnelytics, if you have a free Funnelytics and you can map stuff out, that's what I would use.
Yeah, I'm totally with you that. I have a couple of more. If you guys, can you stay for just about 10 more minutes?
Yeah,
or not? Sure. Yeah. Okay. So we'll work through the last couple here, guys. We'll get there. I promise. Teresa asked, as a CPA, I'm looking for clients. So a lead magnet of what your CPA wished you understood, or what your CPA wants you to do before you sit down with them. That could be good. Yeah.
So that's more about problem you. Is right. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. If you need to always flip the language. This is like the first thing. Anytime I have someone send me copy that needs to be revised, it's always this exact thing where it shouldn't be what your CPA wishes that you knew, but it's what you should bring to the table so that your taxes are easier. Or like, or whatever it is. So like what homeowners need to have prepared for their taxes to be a stress-free process, or, so always flip it around to the customer to be customer centric and speak either to their problems or their desired outcomes.
Yeah. I love also what Yvonne said. She said, I love the broccoli example. Me too. My clients' wants are not in line with the reality of what they can attract or need. Every client faces a different challenge, although there are some common challenges. So yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, is that a lot of times, they want what they want, and it's like, get me. Here's my favorite story about that. I was on a phone with a potential client, and they were talking about the cool things that they needed to do. And I'm not going to even tell you why he asked this, but he said, so what would really work for us is if we got an audience with the Pope. Can you guys get us an audience with the Pope? And I was thinking, I mean, I literally had to put myself on pause and laugh, because I was like, the Pope, where did that come from? I mean, there was a good reason why it would be good if they got an audience with the Pope.
It would be good for a lot of people. Yeah.
I would like an audience with the Pope.
Right.
No,
exactly.
I'm not going to be able to get you an audience with the Pope. So I think clients do have unreasonable expectations, but it's our job to educate them on what's possible.
And that's the great thing about social media, is that you can use that content to educate them. And that's a social media post where it's like, I mean, there's always like a thin line around like how long do you wait before you post something like this, or just change the analogy. So like, I was talking to a client yesterday, and instead of the Pope, you could say, like, we're in New York, so it's like Eli Manning or Daniel Jones or whoever.
Or I want to be in the New York Times, or or get me in the Wall Street Journal, whatever.
And so I was talking to a client yesterday, and like they said they wanted to be, they wanted to be on Oprah, and because that would be great for their business. And a lot of people think this, but in reality, Oprah's audience is so broad. One, it's so difficult to get there, and her audience is so broad that it's actually kind of wasteful with the amount of attention that you would have, where you don't really need all that. So unless you're just trying to feed your ego, then maybe the alternative to look for is something that would cost way less money, be way less work, and actually have a greater impact on your business is, instead of Oprah, if you actually went to the top 5 people in your tri-state area and did stuff with them instead, because that's exactly in your target demographic, and they're going to attract people that will become your customers. And instead of reaching 1 billion people and getting 2 customers, you're going to reach 5,000 people and get 500 customers.
No, I totally agree with that. It's like, and we talked about this a lot with when you get a big rush of traffic, it can actually also just completely bring down your website. There's a bunch of things. So I call it like the running of the bulls. So do you really want
Right.
the bulls to run over your business. I mean, it's like being on Shark Tank. I mean, almost every
Right.
one of them, like
Yeah.
they spend the next 3 months dying over it, and half of the people that
Mhm.
are coming are not the right people for
Right.
them. So
It's like
I
what
think
the Groupon
again,
problem when they first came out, right? Like
mhm.
all these small businesses were like, "Oh, we're going to give away these huge discounts for our cupcakes." And then it ended up putting them out of business because the only people who came were the ones who wanted free cupcakes. No one came back as paying customers, and it put a lot of people out of business at the time. So,
So I think that's it. I think
right.
Nicholas had a question about like a specific tool. I
Mhm.
don't know if you know this or not. And again, tools are awesome. I love them. I'm like a tool fanatic too,
Yeah.
Nicholas. You know that I am,
Yeah.
you know. But
Prior to
you
kids,
can
I
get
was
really
too, but
lost.
I don't have the time
Yeah.
to geek out as much on it now. But marketplan.io sounds familiar, but I don't think I've used it. ConversionFly I've heard of, but I haven't used it, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah. But I'm sure they're great tools. So that's the
Right.
thing. There's all kinds of tools coming out in the market all the
Yeah.
time. This is the thing. And I'm talking to myself. Can I talk to myself here for a minute? Okay,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Getting into action is absolutely the best tool that you have.
Hmm.
Getting into action and actually talking to your clients and doing something like this
Hmm.
where we're hearing from you, I'm
Hmm.
hearing what you want and need
Yeah.
and are having struggling with is the absolute best
Right.
way to become successful.
Yeah.
I've just never seen a better way. And I actually was telling you guys that I had your tools, the tool
Oh yeah.
here,
Here
which
we
is
go.
basically
Nice.
asking you guys. I always ask, this is what you guys say. This is what you want. You want better followers, social media gain,
Hmm.
effective. You want community steps to take, promoting. So I'm just showing you some of the up close stuff so you can see it.
Hmm.
Um, Asking your clients what they want is super, super important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowledge. I mean, just look at this. This is
Yeah.
what you guys want.
Yep.
So that's what we try to do. We try to find out what you want and then deliver it. That's the
Yep.
key. But you want to deliver it. Again, I love it. I'm totally stealing it. The chocolate broccoli thing is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you want to bring in chocolate and then deliver the broccoli because
Yeah.
the truth is, guys, this isn't easy.
Right.
This is not super easy, but it is simple. Do you
Right.
know it's not easy, but it's simple, meaning
Right.
like you
Right.
can complicate it, but it
Right.
doesn't need to be
A lot of
complicated.
people like
So
to complicate it. It's actually called sophistication bias, right? It's a problem,
mhm.
especially with entrepreneurs, is that we like to look at something simple and our brain thinks, well, we need to work harder than that, or there needs to be more involved. It can't be that simple. But I just showed you an example of one social media post, put money behind it to a ugly looking landing page that we've been running since November, and we've gotten 1,000 customers from it. And so you don't. It is simple. You have to work hard to make it work, but it's not overcomplicated. It's know your audience, have a clearly defined audience, a very compelling offer, and how do you connect those two things? And that's social media content and a landing page.
And we will share with you guys this
Hmm.
funnel
Hmm.
sheet. I've got
Yep.
it, or we'll have it momentarily, and we'll
Yep.
put it in the comments here. We'll also
And
put it in the back end of the portal, the Smart
yep.
Social Secrets portal. And what
And
else,
I
Todd?
also have, let me see if I have it up here to show you exactly. I have a worksheet that we'll share with you guys that, can you see here? I don't know if you want to bother
Yeah, I
showing,
can
but
see it
it's a
now.
document.
I'll do it.
And so, there's a guide here to walk you through the concepts and give you instructions. That's about 10 pages, and it has examples in each section. And then we have a worksheet. So we have a question for you to answer, an example of what your answer should look like, and then you put in your answer. So that's, creating your first offer, creating your lead magnet, how do you create engagement, and then how do you create awareness? And then
Yeah.
the really good stuff is, why isn't it working? Right? So it's easy to get that. Well, it's not easy, but it's simple to get that stuff up first, but then you get frustrated. So, okay, here we walk you through problems and how to troubleshoot. Are people not enough people buying, or not enough people signing up, or not enough people engaging? So these are the questions that will help you troubleshoot your funnel. And then this is repurposed from something else. I'll take that offer out at the end.
And
But
all of your social media content, honestly, is something that leads people into this funnel. Either a soft way
Yeah.
or not. So everything we're going to be working on will bring people into this
Right.
thing. So that's why I brought Todd here, because I knew that was going to stop you. Because somebody
Yeah.
would say, well, I don't have an offer and I don't have a
Yeah.
page. It's simple. So I
Hmm.
would like you guys to just keep it simple at first and
Yeah.
then get more sophisticated as you go.
Yeah.
Because, for example, even Todd and I were talking about my ads and what
Yeah.
worked and what didn't work. And we went with really simple. Like I just
Mhm.
went out with like stuff, and usually the content that I'd put out there worked the best, I think, is
Yeah.
what ended up working the best.
Yeah.
So just FYI, I took a photo shoot that I did last fall, and I just dumped those photos in. I mean, I couldn't go out and do a photo shoot for this. There was
Yeah.
no way for me to get the photos I needed for this
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah.
So I could have let that stop me. I don't have branded photos that are the right colors. Thank you, Katie. I don't have the right, I mean, because I've got this cool yellow shirt. You guys see it in my welcome video. I wanted to get some
Yeah.
photos with that to go with
Yeah.
my brand. But you know what? None of
Yeah.
that
You just got
matters. It
right.
just
It doesn't.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stuff
So,
for the future. And, and two things I want to say too is that one, like kind of what you saw there, the ad example there is what I call just a direct response ad. And then the other kind of
mhm.
ad, what we call a kind of education or direct response content marketing is where we'll put purely educational content with a link to a lead magnet and do a 2-minute educational video. And, we'll see the actual, depending on what you sell, is different cart values and stuff. But we ran a 7-week campaign where people who came from their normal marketing somewhere else were spending, I think it was like $2,100 in average purchase. And people who came through, we did, again, it was a social media post that had a 2-minute educational video about like, hey, when you're thinking about buying something like this, here's what you need to know, and linked over to a buying guide. And the people who came from the buying guide spent $2,800 on average instead of
Wow.
$2,100. Yeah. So, creating
Mhm.
educational content as part of that entryway into the lead magnet, into your sales funnel,
Yeah.
educated buyers are always going to be more valuable, and they're going to be better to work with.
Right. And you can run ads in different places. And I'm not saying you
Yeah.
have to run ads. I mean, like
No, no,
again,
no.
you can start simple,
It's a
but
matter of how many people you reach, right?
yeah, so and you can it'll just take longer as an
Right.
organic way. It just takes longer. Because for years and years I didn't run any ads
Yeah.
at all ever. So and I built a 6-figure business with no ads.
Yeah.
So it can be done.
I run dollar a day retargeting ads really for me, and but and
Yeah, and we
not
can
for
that's that
Zeofed,
gets
but
that gets
yeah,
complex.
that's
So
right.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
just
yeah.
keep this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So we might do that. Maybe we can have Kieran come in sometime and do
Mm,
ads. We'll talk about that.
yeah.
Maybe a simple
Cool.
how to set up an ad. I'll twist
Yeah,
Todd's arm.
yeah.
Maybe we can do that toward the end. I'm not
Yeah.
going to give him that now because it's too much content, but like maybe
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
the end
yeah.
we could do that.
Yeah,
Cool.
once they're all set up
All
and
right,
have their
guys.
fundamentals. Yeah, good.
Yep. All
All
right,
right.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you
guys so
so much for
much.
being here today. And thanks for hanging out a little bit, like 15 minutes longer.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, we'll try to keep these to an hour, guys. But
yeah.
I think it was valuable. Do you think it was valuable? Say thanks, Todd. Give him some love. Give him some
Yeah,
love,
thank you
please.
guys. I appreciate it. And post it if you have other questions. I'm in the group too. So if you want to tag me, I'll try and get in and answer them over the next couple of days as you go through this too. So yeah, and
Awesome.
Cammie, thank you so much for putting this program together and for having me on. I really appreciate it. And I'm grateful to be involved in all the different ways that we are.
Thanks for pushing me in so many ways, Todd. Over the years,
Yeah.
he's like, they were like, "Go, Cammie, go do this." I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
no, my
Yeah, no,
clients, my this, my that."
yeah. No, this is
Yeah.
great. I'm really excited for it. So thank you, and thank you guys for paying attention.
Mhm.
And we'll see you in the group.
All right. See you soon. Bye.